Ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. I'm going to try this thing where I answer some of your questions. Thanks for all the questions. I received like 50 to 60 things. I think I can't get to them all, so I'm going to get a few. But before I do that, I'm going to tell you what's been going on, what is going on, what's been going on. Nothing's been going on, but what I have going on soon is tomorrow, Tuesday, October 28th, is Dissonance, and that is where a bunch of musicians get together and have a chat with some humans about mental health, addiction, suicide, depression, all sorts of fun stuff. And we're all going to be playing songs, and that is at the Forum at Minnesota Public Radio, 480 Cedar Street, St. Paul, Minnesota 55101. I believe it's sold out yet. They are going to hold tickets, and I think there's probably going to be an announcement today, if there hasn't already, that for people who got tickets but aren't able to attend, they're going to have, I don't know, they're going to do something, and so people can still come to that. But it's tomorrow night, 7 p.m., October 28th, and the current Healthy States and McNally Smith are the people putting it on. I was a part of it last year, and it was really great. And this year it's grown even bigger. And yeah, and I believe they are going to film it, and they are going to record it, and it will live on somewhere. So look for that. Also, I'm very excited. For the first time, I'm actually going to be a juror on for a film festival, the 2014 Sound Unseen Film Festival, which is November 12th through the 16th. And I believe all the films are going to be shown at either the Trilon or at McNally Smith, but you can go to soundunseen.com for all the details. But I'm very excited about that, and then I get to be here because I've been asked to participate the last couple of years, but I've always been on tour or something's come up, and so yeah, I get to see some movies. So that's gonna be cool. Also, my friend Tommy, who is in Farewell Continental, his solo project venture thing is called International Karate, and he's playing a show on the 14th of November, and I have no information. I don't know where it is. I don't know anything about it, but apparently I'm playing guitar with him, and I think it's going to be some sort of lo-fi thing. So I don't know if it's an acoustic guitar or if it's electric. I don't know. I know nothing about it, so hopefully he will put information up into the world. But we have like a month or a couple weeks. Anyway, so that's happening. Also, Farewell Continental, we are playing a show December 11th with Lemuria at the 7th Street entry. So that's cool. I think we're about like $500 away from hitting the amount of money that we need in order to make album number 2, feature length. What's it called? LP number 2. Yeah. So yeah. So once we get our funds in order, we have an album's worth of material written. We just need to record it, and I think that show will help a little bit. So come out if you want to support. And if you haven't heard Lemuria, rectify that. Get on the internet. Buy all of their shit. It's super good. And also, Motion City Soundtrack is in the studio again, doing a little super secret, fun, little weird project in the acoustic / electronic / strange area. And we hope to record a bunch of things and have them out to you before the new year. I know it's weird. We recorded an album, and that's actually Josh is in LA today for the mastering. So it's getting finished today. LP6, and then in the meantime, until that comes out, we're doing something else that we're going to put out. So anyway, I won't get into too many details. I'll let it be a surprise. So that ends all of the things that are coming up. Now on to your questions. So Dustin Carson asks, I know this cat, he has something about talking more about video games. He says, I know you love the BioShock games, maybe go into some deets, I don't know what that means, just kidding, about what it is you loved about the series or any other games you've played recently, like you sometimes do for movies and books. Yeah, BioShock was the game that got me back into games. As I stated in song, I think literally the last game that I was really into was the Ocarina of Time, and that was, yeah, and I got my wisdom teeth out, and I was all drugged up, And I just played that for like 2 weeks straight and just beat it, and it was crazy. And I remember I was in my parents' basement um, doing that, and that was like the last video game I played. I feel like it was in the '90s, late '90s, um, and then I didn't play video games for like 10 years. And then whenever BioShock came out, we were on some tour, and everybody was playing that game on the tour bus, and I just thought it was the most violently beautiful thing I had ever seen. I was like, what has happened to video games in the last 10 years? So that game got me back into it, and a lot of people, I feel like a lot of people didn't like the second game, and I don't know why. Maybe because it didn't really do anything that drastic. Like, it didn't change very much. Like, especially like from 2 to Infinite, I feel like drastic change, and it was really great, and I loved Infinite. But to me, Bioshock 2 was just an extension of 1 with a few little changes, and give me more of the same, and I'll keep going. That's sort of my attitude. So I loved it all. Yeah, I'd say that was probably, that's one of the high watermarks as far as video games for me. That's like the kind of stuff that I love. I used to like, I think Fallout 3 was one that I played, and I liked that, but it also became an OCD nightmare for me, where I would try to carry everything, and then I'd have to walk super slow, and I wouldn't let go of anything, and it was like I had to get every little thing. And then when New Vegas came out, there was like this whole thing. I'm getting like exhausted talking about it, but it was like this whole thing where you had to put stuff together and make things, and I didn't have an aneurysm, but I felt like I would if I continued to play it. So that was the first game that I stopped playing, and I have to like finish them. If I start them, I have to finish them. And then after I stopped playing that game, I think it might have been my wife. It was just like, this game is upsetting you. And I go to games for a release because like life is upsetting sometimes. So when I hit a roadblock in writing or doing or creating, or I just like had it with the world, then I go to video games for like an hour reprieve or something. But yeah, she noticed that it was causing me much pain emotionally, and so she recommended that I stop, and I did. And ever since, I haven't finished a game. Kind of felt the same way with Assassin's Creed. Like, they just keep pumping them out, and I do love more of the same. But at a certain point, I think it was it was Assassin's Creed 3. Is that the one? I forget. They did 2, and then they did like 2.1.2.3. Whatever. But I think it was the third game where they come to the U.S. and I lost what's it called? I lost a wagon, and then I could never get it back, and I couldn't figure it out, and I was like super bummed, and then I just kind of gave up. Anyway, sorry, this went into like a weird thing, but games. I think that my favorite ones are the Telltale series. I just started playing A Wolf Among Us and The Walking Dead Season 2. I'm about 40% through each of those games. I like them a lot. I did get Destiny, and I think it was a mistake, because I don't play well with others. I kind of like a straight through game, and I did get it for the Xbox 360, and I feel like it would have looked better if I'd gotten a One. Is that what it's called? Xbox One? I forget. Okay. Oh, I was making coffee. So yeah, I don't know if I answered the question, but video games, Borderlands 1, 2, and I haven't gotten the prequel yet, but I hope to soon. It's a long story, the whole house thing. I'm kind of waiting until there's a moment, like, I don't know, being on tour is a good time to play video games, or like when I don't actually have a million projects that I'm working on. So, I don't know, we'll see. The next question comes for, okay. So this one comes, I can't pronounce your name, I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher it. The next question comes from Michael Robert Lepp. It says, I'm a songwriter, musician of sorts, so I'm interested in the way you write. Whether there's a method to it or not, absolutely not. Do you ever battle writer's block? And if so, how do you beat it? You don't. Yeah, I'll just stop there. And see, I think, yeah, it's weird. I can, when I was younger, I think I just made stuff up, and whatever happened happened, and I'm like, that's cool, let's do that. In reference to Motion City, I can say that the first album and even the second, I feel, because Josh and I started playing in '97, so a lot of the songs that were on I Am the Movie were written sometime between '97 and 2002, 2001, 2002. And we had different people playing on it, and then when, Josh, Jesse, Matt, Tony, and myself all got together, then we sort of reconfigured and people changed things to suit themselves, and, I think, I'm trying to think, I don't remember which songs were written. I think Future Freaks Me Out might have been written, the five of us, like, all together, but yeah, it just sort of happened. Like, these songs just sort of happened. And in terms of writing lyrics, especially those first two records, I was in a very, well, not like, the first record I wasn't in a dark, I was in a dark place, but I didn't know it. The second record, I think I was in a dark place and I knew it. And a lot of those songs were just honest, and they just came out, and they were what they were. And then I feel like there was a shift for the third record. I know for me, I was just like, oh my god, I can't sing live. I got to figure out how to write songs that I can sing. And I was too caught up in that I didn't pay enough attention to, like, the fun, I don't know how to put it, but, from that point on, I started getting worried about things, and, like, I might have paid a little too much attention to this over here and not enough attention to this over here. That's all I'm saying. And I was trying really hard to be as good as what I'd done before, so it was kind of in my head a little bit. And there was just like a weird sort of melancholy feeling going on. And then I know for My Dinosaur Life, well, what's weird is, like, right when we were recording Even If It Kills Me, that's when I got a hold of my friend Tommy, and I was like, hey, we should play some music together that's just, like, noisy and shitty and, like, sloppy and just a mess. And he was like, I agree. And so we started playing Farewell Continental and writing those songs, and that was just absolutely just whatever came out. Like, don't think about it at all. And I really liked that. And so that approach, and lyrically, just writing about, a lot of times it was the sound of the words themselves, not necessarily the meanings, but the meanings I would kind of tie together after I had a certain amount of words, and then once I knew what that was, I would finish it with that new meaning. I don't know if that makes sense, but which I then, having done that, going back to My Dinosaur Life, absolutely used that approach. And songs like Disappear and The Weekends and Pulp Fiction, maybe a little more, but I definitely, there's a lot of, like, the way that the words sound, they kind of, like, cut, I really used that a lot on that record. And then with Go, a lot of it we just wrote in the studio. Like, we wrote the entire record without having any idea what we were doing, and we were recording it at the same time. So I don't know if I'm answering your question, but there's a lot of different approaches to it. And I do know that I think the older I get, the more time I spend on things. I don't know. But as far as, like, writing, okay, sorry. But yes, this new record that we have, I feel like, is a combination of all of that. And I've finally gotten to a place now where I sort of, if my gut is telling me this is good, I just leave it, even though my brain might be saying I don't understand, or I don't know, maybe you could do better. Because I feel like my brain has often gotten in the way, especially with, like, Even If It Kills Me. It just, like, would not let me write that record. And it was just a miserable experience, trying to get it out. And now I kind of, I get to a point where I wake up, I do my thing, I get some coffee, drive my wife to work, eat some breakfast, and then I sit down in front of the computer and I write. And I do that for as many hours as I can. Usually it's anywhere from 2 to 5. And then I'm just like, my brain is done. And then whatever I get, like, sometimes I get entire songs written, sometimes I get nothing written. Sometimes I'm just on the internet because I can't deal. But what I've found, and what everybody's ever told me, who talks about writing is that you just have to do it over and 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 over, and then eventually you'll get somewhere. And it took me 30 some, did I say 30? I meant 20 some years to get there. So I don't know if that's really a method or not. I just do it and things happen. And shut up. This is an interesting question. Caitlin Farmer asks, alrighty, so I think it would be super cool if once a week, or, you know, hey, whenever, you picked apart a song that you've written and told us your inspiration for it and all that jazz, because there have been many times where I have heard a certain song or lyric and just think, hey, that's strange and interesting. I wonder where that came from. Sorry, got a phone call in the middle of that. But yeah, anyway, I've told this story before. And so I sometimes don't know if I should, like, how much into detail I should go. But maybe it's like, you know, it's like television or a movie or something. Like, if it's been out for a certain number of years, deal with it. I'll tell you that this song was about, you know, the best sandwich I ever ate. And then you'd be like, oh, that's dumb. I don't think I've ever written a song about a sandwich. But, let's see, what's the most... I don't know how to answer that question. I don't know. Well, you know, like a song like Timelines is just absolutely literal, I think. So that's what that's about. Maybe I should have looked at these questions before I tried to answer them while I was recording. I'm failing you. I'm failing you all. Well, okay, I don't know. Okay, this to me might be interesting. But, like a song like Even If It Kills Me, you know, it started out as this little ditty. And it kind of was like one rotation through a verse and a chorus, and then it was done. And we didn't know really how to turn it into a song. But that happened during the recording process. But I had just watched... I had been like slightly familiar with Daniel Johnston, and I had just watched The Devil and Daniel Johnston, which is a great documentary if you ever get the chance. And he is a mad scientist in terms of, I think somebody or a couple people in the documentary say it as well, where he writes these songs and there might be just his voice and one instrument, but it sounds like a full orchestra. It's hard to explain. But that song in particular was me. I was basically trying to write a Daniel Johnston song, and it turned into something totally different. I don't think it really sounds like him, but it just something about that film was the instigator to the beginning of a song. Now, I don't think it has anything to do with that, and it's a very personal story, but that was an inspiration. And again, another thing, which okay, I'm kind of getting away from the original question, but this to me is more interesting. So like a song like Antonia, not necessarily what it's about, but how it came about, you know. And a lot of this, like, I don't write drums, I don't write bass, I don't write any of that. I just have a guitar line and a vocal melody and some words. That's usually my contribution, and then maybe some, like, you know, as we go along, we all throw out ideas, but I know that I was listening to a lot of Jesus and Mary Chain, and then I had watched, I think it was Ben Folds live in Australia, like a concert, and I was also listening to Tom Waits. Like, those three things in conjunction with each other. And that somehow... I remember specifically that night that all those things happened throughout that day. The idea for Antonia was born. Is that interesting? I don't know. It's interesting to me. I might have to get back to this question. I feel like I'm already over 10 minutes. Hopefully there's another question that is easier to answer. Denise Townsend says, "Hi, Justin. Hey. Denise, I'm a huge fan of yours and so grateful I get to listen to your music. Right on. I'm sure you'll get better questions. Come on, don't sell yourself short, Denise! But here's a couple. Who is your hero? Easy. Robert Downey Jr. Why? Because the man was at the top of his game, and a huge drug addict, right? And he fell hard and like as far down as you can go before death, right? And then he came back. He came back, and now he's doing better than he ever was, and he's doing it sober. So he is my hero, and I hope to be as amazing as that man one day. How are you celebrating Halloween? I'm not. It's not Halloween yet. I don't know. My wife and I have really great costumes picked out, but we have no party to go to. As Tom Waits said, I have no friends, but I get a lot of mail. You and your wife should do a pair of costume. Oh my god, we totally would. You know, like Wayne and Garth, or Mario and Luigi. Good luck on your move. Thanks. Alright. That's pretty easy. Yeah. So I don't know. Okay. I'm pretty sure I know how I'm going to do this from now on. I'll probably write the questions down ahead of time and then, you know, have a vague idea of what I'm going to say, and then it'll move a lot quicker. But thanks for doing this. Thanks for being a part of this. I think I'll do more questions next time. And yeah. So feel free, again, if you want to send questions to justincourtneypierre@gmail.com or wherever you're seeing this. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. All right. Bye.